Okay, so there's a chance I might get to race this thing yet this year. So, and since I'm a glutton for punishment and I was bored on top of that, I decided to make some changes. So, come on, focus, man. First thing I've done is the car is overweight. It's too heavy. So, it needs to lose some weight. So, that bit of frame rail that used to go clear up to like here wasn't doing nothing. It didn't need to be there, so it went away. That probably dropped 25 pounds off the car right there. And in the back here I had big springs and adapters and a bunch of other shit. And since the rules basically don't mean anything at all at this point, they went away for wee springs because they're a lot lighter as well. And they'll do the same job. And they take up less space. And then I went ahead, since I had to move the battery, I had this battery box back here that was behind the left rear tire. That was, right there, that was superfluous. It was not doing anything. So the battery got moved to right there. So the battery box was in that area there, if you've seen any of the previous videos. It wasn't doing anything, so that 6 or 8 pounds needed to go away, so it did. And I still got the other shock is over there on in the vise, because I just put it together. But I'm not going to put it on tonight because I nicked this rail in a couple of places with the cutoff disc. I got to weld up yet. But I'm not going to do that tonight because I don't feel like it. But anyway, so that should take, 30, 35 pounds of metal off the car. And then in testing, we found that we could run this fuel cell down to, less than 3 gallon, 2.5 gallon, something like that, and it still would pull just fine. No sputtery, no whatever. So we're going to start with 5 gallon less fuel in it, which is another 35 pounds we can take off of it. Don't need to be there. And that all means that we can take I don't know if you can see it down in there or not. There's that white, right there, that white piece. That's a piece of lead, and there's a piece of lead in front of it that could come off now because we've pulled that weight off of the ass, because that lead was just there to balance the car. So we take, 50 pounds off the ass, we can take 50 pounds off the nose, and suddenly the car is 100 pounds lighter, which is progress. So that's what I've done today. No idea when we're going to race next, or even if we're going to get to race again. So, but this is stuff that I've been thinking about, and it needs to be done for the car to be right, so I'm doing it. Even if it's just to put it in the trailer and put it away. Anyway, that's what it is for today. Alright, so got some things done. I split the nose panel in half here so I could get it off. It was so tight in the bumper it had to come out like this underneath, which made it impossible to remove at the racetrack. So I'll split it and so that we can take the top half off at the racetrack without any trouble. And I got the tabs put back on over here, and all this is painted and looks pretty good. Changed the gear in the back, which is really quick with a quick change. Took some preload out of the pull bar there, and I took the 9010 shock that was right here off because it wasn't doing anything. The travel was so short, it wasn't worth the weight. So it went away, and like I said, it went to the small springs in the back on both sides. So that's pretty good. Check the ride heights, and they've all come up about 1/4 of an inch, which is about what you'd expect because I took 50 pounds off of here, and more than 50 pounds off of the back here by the time you take into account all the other stuff. The box that was here is gone, and I've touched up the welds where I nicked the frame, and it's all painted back together. Shiny chrome ghetto spring there. I hate that chrome, but like it was literally $30 cheaper than a powder coated spring of the same size, which don't make no sense to me, but it is what it is. So I got a chrome ghetto spring. It's the right rate, which is really all that matters. And other than that, it all looks pretty good. I got a few things yet to do, and then put the body back on it and scale it and put it in the trailer. Alright, got the nose panel split and remounted along here, so I can get, I can take the upper half off at the racetrack now with no big deal, which is, it was a big deal before, so that's took care of now. Well, it's been about, I don't know, a month and a half or 2 months since the last clip, and things, as they tend to do, have escalated. So there just ain't gonna be enough modifieds to run this season, which means if I'm gonna race at all, I'm gonna have to do it in a different class. And the street stocks are too slow. I am already way faster than they are, which is not gonna be a good show, and it's gonna make them mad. So the only other choice is to run with the late models, which running the late models with this car is, well, this would be a knife in a gunfight, wielded by a retard, of course, which ain't helping nothing. But in the furtherance of maybe it'd be a knife with one of them hand guards that's made into brass knuckles. We're going to put some bigger meats on her. So they call that a 10-inch tire. They call this an 8-inch tire. Well, from edge to edge, you can see where it touches the ground, where it's dirty. That's 7.5 inches. Over here, you can see where it's dirty. That's 10.5 inches. So it's damn near an 11-inch tire. Yeah, that's a lot more rubber. And we're going to have 4 of them. We'll see what it'll do. Hopefully, it'll get us in the ballpark. I think we're still going to have a hard time winning races over there, but at this point, I'd be pretty happy just to run solidly in the midfield with this car. You know, you're running against race cars that cost 3-4 times as much money, maybe 5 times as much money. If we could outrun some of them, that'd be a damn good accomplishment. So that's where we're at. This definitely files under the heading of careful what you wish for, because when I started this, I always said I wanted to do a run what you brung deal where you put the big tires, although I was talking about 15s, but 10s are still a lot bigger than I'm used to running, with the open motor, you know, on a car that basically doesn't have any rules, which at this point we don't, because they just want me to be kind of close to the speed of the late model so I don't get in the way, which is exactly what I want. I don't want to be in the way. So, definitely going to get what I wanted. We'll see if it works out or not. Anyway, them some big damn tires. Well, if nothing else, it's going to look good. Let me get back here a little farther. I'm tripping over something and dying. Yep, looks nice. These wide tires are smaller diameter than the narrow ones. Fair bit. Like that right rear that come off of there was damn near 87 inches around. This one's only like 84.5. So there's significant rollout difference between them. I didn't think they'd be that much different, but I still got the stagger I wanted. The chalk marks on the tire don't mean nothing neither. They're way off. They were pretty close on the spread though, so I got the stagger I wanted. I got stuff buttoned up in the trailer now. Jack stand's got a home. Fuel jug's got a home. Toolbox is bolted to the tire rack, which is bolted to the trailer, so it can't fall over again. And got us a workbench now and a remote on the winch. So, why won't you focus? So we don't have to be laying on the floor to use it. So, it's all good progress. I'm gonna throw her on the scales tomorrow and see what we get. I don't know, I'm hoping for it to be at least 100 pounds lighter than it was. I took about 150 pounds off of it, but them wider wheels are heavier, and so are the wider tires, so we just have to see how it goes. If nothing else, she's gonna look good. Alright, so since the last clip, we've been in practice on the wide tires. You see they ain't new no more. The fastest lap we turned with the wide tires was 3/10 faster than the fastest lap we turned on the narrow ones. The narrow one's got to go on the front because it won't fit in the trailer with the wide ones on the front end. Won't fit between the fender wells and the trailer. So ultimate speed, I'm a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, it's not apples to apples, because the first time we went and tested, it was 70 degrees. This time it was 95 degrees. It was in the afternoon. The racetrack was hot. But it was much more consistent. Like, the first time we practiced at 16.7 was the fastest lap we turned, and everything else was in the low 17s. Whereas this time, 16.4 was the fastest lap we turned, but we were consistently 16.5, 16.6 on everything else. So that's an improvement, and most of that I think is probably just down to me. I have been out of the race car for a long time, and this is a different style of driving than I am used to. You know, in the dirt, you want to brake in a straight line and turn the car, pivot it. And in the asphalt, you want to be real smooth and, you know, slick lines, arcing lines. You don't want to, no abrupt things. So I got to work on my technique, I think, is where a lot of the speed yet lies. The car is faster than I am at this point by a fair margin, I think. But we're still not too far off. I think a fast late model is like, well, fast, like 15.1, which is tremendously faster, but that's on Hoosiers, and these McCreary's are just not that fast. I think probably a 15.2 or 3, 15.5. I think the fastest lap, the last one was like a 15.1, 15.2. I don't know, I can't remember now, but anyway, we're approaching the ballpark. I mean, you know, probably going to go laps down if it goes green checkered in a, you know, 30 lap feature, but that's just how she goes. This is a completely lower class car than we're running against. So, but I don't think that's fast enough to not be just blatantly in the way, I hope. I guess we'll see. If we go out there and run the first race and I'm terribly in the way, we'll have to rethink. But that's what it is. I got some clips of the car on the racetrack when we practiced. I'll put in here. And I guess we'll see how the race goes. That is all.